Hello, and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the 5th grade concept of solving data problems. This is standard 5.9C in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 27 of the 2024 released STAAR test. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, unpause it, and we will look at our answers together. All right, so we have players on a basketball team, and they are recording the number of hours they each practice. The data shown here is represented that. It's on a dot plot. Now, we simply need to make one calculation, the difference between the greatest and the least number of hours practiced. So I want to take this and I want to put it into a table of values here because I want you to see that there's a little bit of a trick that we might miss. So we've got each of our values here. I'm just going to label them, and they go up by halves, right? So we might need to deal with halves if we have to do any kind of subtraction, that's really what it's asking for. When it's asking for the difference, that is asking for subtraction. Let's get our 3.5, 4, 4.5. All right, so we've got nothing at that 1/2, so we're going to leave that blank, okay? And so I'm going to put hours practiced right here. Right, I've got 2 at the 1. I'm just going to go ahead and put some tally marks, and then I'll put the actual number there, right? So that's going to be 2, that's 0, that's 1.5, that's going to be 4. 2 has got 2, 2.5 has got 1, 3 has got 3, okay? Then I've got a 1, 1, and then a 2. So this is really going to help me is when I translate it from my tally mark into this. Here's the trick. We are not going to count this. Even though the actual number line goes down to 1/2, what we're not going to do is we are not going to subtract, and you see that that's here, okay? I've got my 4.5, and if I wanted to subtract 4.5 greatest, that 1/2 doesn't have any values there. But if I were to do that, 4.5 take away half, you see that's going to be one of our answer choices. But we're not going to do it because no players ever practiced half an hour. So that's the trick here. We're not going to use that even though it's on our dot plot as the smallest value. We have to find the difference between the greatest and the least number of hours practiced. What is the greatest number of hours practiced, right? I've got 4.5. What is the least number of hours practiced? It was 1. So that's where we have to be very careful as to what we are subtracting. It's going to be that 4.5 minus 1. Now, we are subtracting mixed numbers here. If we need to, right, we can draw something. So I'm going to draw my 4.5 right here. So I'm going to just completely shade these in. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4, and then I've got half. So there's my 4.5. If I want to take away 1, right, all I do is I just eliminate one of those, and what am I left with? Well, I've got 3 holes. So you can kind of line it up like this. You can put the whole numbers under the whole numbers, the fractions under the fractions, and so you're going to end up with 3.5 left over. So we're going to avoid the trick answer of A right there. We're going to say our answer here is C, 3.5 hours.